It has been a remarkable first half of the season here in the first ever Budget Truck Series. 4 races, each of them coming down to the wire within a tenth of a second, and last week was the greatest example. Thomas Troxell stealing the win away at the death from Tim Simmons at Willow Springs. The closest ever finish in any series, any race here on the channel. Tonight we kick off the second half of the season on 4th of July weekend at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What kind of fireworks will we see here tonight? It is the Gainbridge 200, the 5th race of the Budget Truck Series Season 1. Hello everyone and welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Indiana for the Gainbridge 200, the 5th race of the season. My name is Stuart Grattan. Looking forward to this race. Indianapolis is always such a fun racetrack, hence why it's on the calendar here. Bit unusual to see the trucks here, but it's going to be a fun race. So I'm looking forward to it very much so, and a lot of drivers will be circling this one as a race that they desperately want to win here in the Budget Truck Series. And well, a lot of it is obviously, winning here at one of the most famous racetracks in the world. But obviously there's a championship battle going on at the moment, and the man starting on the outside pole, Rogel Dawn, well, he comes into this race second in the championship, and didn't have a great week last week. Hoping to bounce back and hoping to take that championship lead in the number 44. There's a very, very tight battle going on, and each of the winners so far this year in contention for that championship. We're looking forward to this race at 20 laps, no pit stops, it'll be 50 miles in length. Half of what the Brickyard 400 is. It should be a thoroughly entertaining race. Here are the championship standings. You can see them on your screen right now. Carson Miller, the winner a couple of weeks ago at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He is 12 points up on the field, so a decent gap. We wouldn't say it was a handy gap, but it's a decent gap. 12 points up on Rogel Dawn. Although Dawn has by far and away the significant advantage in terms of qualifying here for this race. Over his competitors, because Caleb Rose is third, the points 13 back. He's had a very good year. He's the only driver in the top 5 without a win, but he always seems to find his way forward at the end of the race. He starts a long way back, but he is on the inside, so keep that in mind. Thomas Troxell, what a finish last week. 4 thousandths of a second between himself and Tim Simmons. He led all but one lap, and he did lead the most important lap, but he did lose it on the penultimate lap. Got it back. He starts from second to last, so he's got a lot of work to do. 4th in points. Ray Gillespie in the 99. Winner at Pikes Peak is 29 back. And then Braden Perez has turned his season around. He is 30 back. Carson Riggy is 32 back. And then everybody else is a race or more behind. Tyler Jericho, 43 back. And then Roberto Crown, OS Joshi, 44 back each. So that's your top 10 in the points. And at the end of the night, we'll see if who in that top 7 will leave here with a championship lead, because any of those drivers can, and they've got a mixed bag in terms of where they have qualified here in this race. But Ryan Durrani, in the number 18, is on the pole and looking to get himself his first race win. Hasn't been a great year for the 18. He lost that race at Homestead to the man starting as outside Rogel Dawn. Has been a great year since, but he'll lead the field to green today. Rogel Dawn, as I said, starting alongside the winner at Homestead in that first race of the season, and second in the points. Nicholas Samunio in the 88 starts from the 3rd position alongside Dominic Anthony in the 45, who led the most laps in the Brickyard 400 in the Cup Series this year. Jake Rogers has had a tough season, but he starts from the 5th position here today. He's alongside Andrew Williams, who's also had a very tough season, rather. Down at 35th in the points, hoping for a good run here today. There's Ray Gillespie in the 99, 5th in the points. He's got a good start, looking to make some ground here in this championship, alongside Isaac Nichols in the 26, who's bemoaned his season so far. And then Miles Inamatsu in the number 2, alongside the 9 of Benny Watson, rounds out that top 10 in the number 9. Behind them, you got Alexander Rowe in the 62, alongside OS Joshi in the 93. Joshi coming into this race 10th in the points. Tyler Jericho, also top 10 in the championship, 8th in points. Yet to have a top 10, though. Quite remarkable to say. He starts alongside Henry Gore in the number 11. Tim Simmons, who was so heartbroken by what happened last time out at Willow Springs, hoping to make amends today and get his first win of the season. It's Great run last week, regardless, alongside Mateus Bento. And then Jaron Oren in the 17th position had a big crash here earlier in the season in the Cup Series. Carson Miller, our championship leader, starts from the 18th position. And then Roberto Crown Jr. Didn't have a great week last week, but has had a good season alongside Logan Williams in the 56th. That's your top 20. Carson Ricky, who's 7th in the points right there in the 21st position. There's Caleb Rose in the 76. He is starting from 27th. You got the 15 rather of Braden Perez back in there from 29th. So those guys have a bit of work to do. And then you've got the one of Thomas Truxell at the rear of the field on the back of that win last time out. Rest of the starting lineup, the full starting lineup rather, left side of your screen with thanks to GRT. We'll get these guys to roll off here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're looking forward to what will be hopefully a very entertaining race. It typically is here at the Brickyard. One of the most unique racetracks. Not just here on this calendar, but, you know, in real life as well. The only rectangular oval on the calendar. And what a racetrack this is. What a coliseum this racetrack is. And it's looking forward to what will be a very fun race. So 20 laps, as we talked about, at 50 miles in length. So it's half of the Cup Series full race distance. So the 40 laps in Cup, 20 laps here. No pit stops. Got the 1X going for these races here in this series. So no pit stops once again here. And we'll see who can handle themselves the best. And chances are we're going to get ourselves a yellow. Because the yellow frequency in Cup is anything to go by, then, you know, historically there have been a lot of accidents in Cup, and so you can imagine that there's a good chance of that happening here in the trucks as well. And could we get another side-by-side photo finish? We've had 4 of them so far in 4 races. I mean, technically Pikes Peak will say we'll count it, and then Charlotte as well, because they're hard to say they were side-by-side per se. Certainly last time out at Willow Springs was the equal closest finish ever on the channel for my records anyway, because the other race that it was tied with was the Season 3 Cup Series race at Daytona, the Coke 0400. That was also 4 thousandths of a second. We'll see if it gets that close at the end of the race, at the end of 20 laps. The pace car's going to dive off on a pit road, and strap yourselves in. 4th of July weekend. Happy 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Well, let's have ourselves a great one here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Green flags in the air. Ryan Durrani to lead the field. We're underway in the Gainbridge 200. And down the front, race to lead the first lap. Who's it going to be? It looks like it will be Ryan Durrani. They're in the number 18, and looks like he's going to get himself a lap lead to start, but he may not have the lead for long because Samudio's there in the 88 on the inside for Thor Sport. His teammate Jake Rogers right behind as well, trying to get underneath the Durrani, and he's going to send it in there on that inside, and he's going to take that second spot away. As we talked about, not been a good year for Jake Rogers. He did have a good run last week. He was very strong at Willow Springs, but, you know, 27th in the points for a reason. It's been a tough year otherwise. He's Miles Inamatsu in the 2, though. He wants to get to the second position in that 2 truck for Ayumi, and he couldn't quite get underneath there. And this is the thing about Indianapolis. You've got to time your run. You've got to make your move in the right spot. And turn 4's definitely not the spot where you want to make a move. Alexander Rowe there, the 62. He's trying to make that one stick, but he's going to end up losing that spot to Durrani, who was able to... We lost a few spots there, but was able to get back on the outside that time. So Samudio out in front. So Inamatsu trying to get around Rogers. Can't quite do anything right now. Ryan Durrani is in the 4th position. Rogaldorn up to the 5th position, despite falling back on that outside earlier. How about the 3 wide situation we saw off the start? Andrew Williams, Inamatsu, and Dominic Anthony, the 45, certainly the loser out of that so far, as Anthony now dropping, looks like outside the top 10. You got Isaac Nichols there as well, and got some interesting names trying to move their way forward. Carson Ricci back in there. There's Caleb Rose, the 76. And Brent Perez has not had a good start in the 15. He's actually stuck on the outside. He's got Troxel right alongside. And, of course, these two guys were in a part of that great battle last week up front all race long in terms of the race win. So Samudio has taken the lead, and I wouldn't say he hasn't looked back yet, but he's done a good job so far. In terms of his season, it's been okay. 16th in points. Not really anything to write home about per se, but certainly far from particularly awful. He's just kind of hovering around in the mid pack, and sums up the season for him so far. We're now leading here at Indianapolis, but here comes Inamatsu in the 2. Once again, himself a race win here. In terms of Inamatsu so far through 4 races, 23rd rather, in the points coming into this race. And he's going to get around Rogers right there, and you saw Rogaldorn, saw how much that inside lane, how little grip there was through 4 in particular, and how much time he's going to lose, because look at, Rose going to be the loser here, because here comes Gillespie. Gillespie's going to pounce to the inside, and turn 1 is a good place to make overtakes. There's not much grip on the outside, and Gillespie gets around the 62 of Rowe. Andrew Williams right in there. Jericho. It's a good run for Jericho. As I said, hasn't had a top 10 all season, but doing a decent enough job at the moment. Tim Simmons, well, he wants to make amends for what happened last week. No question about that. He's inside the top 10, so good to see the 52 running well after what was a very tough first few races of the season. You've got Crown, who's also trying to make some ground here in the championship. War here in the 11. Who I think with Jared On, rather, the 91, those two can attest that the Cup Series race here in Indianapolis was not a particularly fun one for him. Hoping that it goes a little bit better here today. Now, there's that damage on the rear of... it looks like there's a bit of damage on the rear of Inamatsu's car, so there might have been something that's happened there. Maybe a bit of contact, perhaps with Durrani. Something weird has happened to the 2. And he looks off the pace. Like, well off the pace. As he comes Rogers to the inside, you can see the rear wing, I guess, the spoiler, has been bent back a little bit in an awkward spot. It looks like the tray's just a little bit damaged. So we'll see. We'll check that. There'll be a replay if it hasn't been already. Kind of to look at and see what happened here to the 2. And it's just holding him up just a little bit. Trying to get underneath here of Ryan Durrani. Rogaldorn way up out of the groove. He's going to get the run on the outside. And then he gets the draft down the front, but unfortunately probably got a little too high. And that's going to leave him vulnerable, because now you've got Jericho pushing Rowe, and you can see how close these guys all are. I mean, there is very much of a spread, certainly in comparison to what we saw in Cup this year, as Gwark gets around Dawn. And you've got Williams back in there as well, or Andrew Williams, that is. Dawn's going to cut down in front. So Dawn now outside that top 10 in the 44. Or thereabouts. That top 10. No, he's probably still in the top 10. I'll take it back. Here comes Durrani, though, in the 18. And I think the 2, whatever's happened to the 2, it's not affecting him too badly, but it's affecting him enough to where he is vulnerable. And once again, Rogers strong that outside. The ThorSport trucks, 3 of them up here. So you got Samudio obviously leading the race and pulling away, mind you, as well. Rogers in 2nd, and Gillespie in the 5th position at the moment. Not sure where Charlie Davenport is, the 13. But he's not having a good day. He is 35th last time by. Gillespie and his teammates in Rogers and Samudio doing a very good job. But Samudio has held the lead ever since he took it away. But as Thomas Troxel can attest, no guarantee that get yourself the race win. Because of course, Troxel did lose that lead last week. Had to work hard to get back. They're about to get to 3 ThorSport trucks. 1, 2, 3. You've got Gillespie trying to get to the inside here of Durrani, but Durrani cuts down. And it is an overcast day, and that might be playing into how these guys race as well, potentially. Cooler conditions on the track, not baked in sunlight. So, a little bit more grip up top. And look at this. Roger's got a good run down the front. He's not gonna. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move here this time into turn 1. But he got a good run out of 4, and he was certainly, choreographing a move to the inside of Samudio. Durrani right in there. These guys are broken away. Inamatsu's hanging around. Jericho here, the 81. Jericho would love a race win, given where he sits in the points. He keep himself closer to that championship lead. Here comes Durrani, though, the 18. Expected more from Durrani. I can't lie. He was very impressive at Homestead, and he qualified well at Charlotte, but hasn't quite got anything to go outside of Homestead right now. He's 21st in the points. It hasn't been a great season for him, but he is at 3rd. Matsu on the inside of Gillespie, so it's affecting him a little bit, but not too much. It's good to see for Matsu, seeing him run up towards the front of the field. He has to slow him behind Gillespie. That's going to leave him vulnerable to Jericho, but Jericho slots in behind now. Rogers all over the back of Samudio. And these races go by quickly. And I'm sure last week can attest for that. Almost halfway through this Gainbridge 200. Samudio took the lead away on the opening lap and hasn't looked back. Well, not on the opening lap, second lap, but hasn't looked back since. Although he's got Rogers and Durrani right there. Gillespie, and look at Jericho send it to the inside of Rowe and Inamatsu. This is not where you want to be, though, on that inside. Oh, he's going to try and get an 8th. Inamatsu wanted to close the door, and you can see Rowe got the run on the top side. And now Jericho is going to lose that spot. War as well in the 11, although don't want to be the outside in turn 1. So this is kind of the thing with Indianapolis. You've got to time your moves correctly. Rowe proves that point to the inside of Inamatsu, gets around the 2 and up into 5th. And top 4 have broken away. Talking about championship, Ray Gillespie 29 points back, winner at Pikes Peak. Won't complain, I imagine, with a top 5 run here today. I don't know where Carson Miller is on the track. We're going to check in a minute, but I want to keep an eye on Durrani here, who is desperate to get back to the front. Started on the pole here in this race, led the first lap, lost the lead. Just had to fight back, but unfortunately, as the tyres wear out, it's not getting any easier for these guys to make moves up front. And it's not been easy all day, but Rogers didn't look like he got a great run out of turn 4. That might leave him vulnerable down this front straight. And Durrani's all over the back, and I wouldn't be surprised if he made a move. And there he goes to the inside. He probably gets past the 98 right here, although Rogers drives it in hard, but can't carry the momentum through 1, and Durrani will go past and up into 2nd. Here comes the 99 of Gillespie. It looks Gillespie will follow through as well, so Rogers goes from 2nd to 4th in 2 turns. Rowe in 5th, Jericho, then Inamatsu, falling back into the clutches here of Williams, Gwar, Dawn, Joshi, back in here, so some big names back in there. Carson Green, good to see Carson Green up here at close to the top 10. I think if he got a top 10 here today, Carson Green, he would not complain in the slightest. I think given the way his season has gone, coming into this race, the last full-time driver in points, 34. Well, full-timers in drivers that have made every single race. You got Crown back in there, Watson, Jerry Chen. In the 16, Tim Simmons, Trajan Hawk, Donick Anthony. Hasn't been able to recover since the start of the race. There's Carson Miller, so I was just saying, I don't know where the 25 is, but he's in 20th position, so not having a good run here at the moment. And that's going to leave him vulnerable here to, well, he's not going to lose the lead right now, I imagine, but with Dawn not that far up the road, but he would like to make some ground, no question about it. He's actually going to make a move here on Jared Oren in the 91. There's Carson Leahy, Logan Williams, Isaac Nichols. Back in there, Nathan Stapleton, Thomas Troxel hasn't been able to make much ground. Same with Rose and Perez. So these are all drivers top 10 in the points, and Troxel only 17 back coming into today. He's going to lose a lot of ground by the looks of it. Let's talk about how have I been on such a hot streak as of late. Oh, that was close there. Trajan Hawk. Betty Watson, if they did make contact, they were pretty close with Roberto Crown as well. And look at this, it is on. Rowe has got around Rogers, so he's now up to 4th. The top 6 now, all under a blanket, all within a second of this race lead. So look at the 99 Gillespie. He looks pretty racy all of a sudden. He's going to make a move to the inside. This is not the end of the racetrack. You want to be making a move, though, as we've seen all day. It is not easy to make moves even here in turn 3 is not a particularly easy place to make an overtake. Certainly turn 4 is downright almost impossible. Although Gillespie made a pretty good fist of it. Just couldn't quite get clear of the 18. Although actually he's going to be able to carry enough momentum. And Gillespie's going to get away with this. So he won't complete the move yet. But he's got the inside for turn 1. And he should be able to get around Durrani right here. Get to second. Looking for his second win of the season. Second win within 3 weeks. And he gets around the 18 and up into second. And Rowe I thought was going to get to the inside of Durrani as well. But couldn't. We've got an interesting mix of teams and drivers up here. You got well, you got 3 Thorsport, you got 2 McAnally drivers, and you got the 62 of Rowe for Halma Friesen. Because of course Andrew Williams is another one of these McAnally. I'll never get those right. Trucks as well, the 19, and teammate to Jericho and Durrani. So something to keep in mind as well. Here we go for the lead. How about Gillespie? Here in the 99, he wants to say, hey, I'm a true championship contender in every sense of the word. He's going to get to the inside right here. And Samudio Stranglehold on the lead. No more. Gillespie to the inside, and he gets around the 88, and he hits the front here in Indianapolis, with Rowe trying to follow suit here into turn 2. On the inside, carry the momentum. We'll see. It's going to be a drag race down this backstretch. And I think Rowe's going to win this battle. He's got enough momentum. He should be able to clear him into turn 3. And... oh, not quite. Oh, Samudio's going to fight it back hard. That's going to open Durrani. Open it up for Durrani and company as Gillespie pulls away. And Rowe is going to get clear right there of Samudio. So that was a long setup, but he got past. So Samudio goes from first to third. Rowe to second. And Ray Gillespie, the winner at Pikes Peak, the leader now here in Indianapolis. But look at the run that Rowe has got down the front stretch. And look out, here comes the 19. Andrew Williams, 35th in the points, is in contention for the win. And we got some new faces up here. Oh, it's Joshy's right in the mix. How about the 14 of Trajan Hawk, Jerry Chen. Henrik Wars back in there, the 11. So a lot of chopping and changing up and down this field. Rogel Dawn's dropped back quite a bit. He's actually right with Carson Miller at the moment. So Miller in a good position right now. Although, he wouldn't like seeing this guy out in front. Ray Gillespie in the 99. Came into this race 29 points back. 5th in points. Looking for his second of the season. But he's got 2 hungry drivers right behind. You've got the 62 of Rowe. You've got the 88 Samudio who wants the lead back. And we've got 3 laps to go. This is shaping up to be another pretty close finish here in Indianapolis. And here goes Rowe to the inside. Not mucking around. The 62. Gillespie tries to use the outside to his advantage. He did a good job. He carried a lot of the momentum on the outside. And he's actually going to hold that outside. And hold the lead. Through 1 and 2. Nice bit of driving there for the 99. Rowe's got to regroup. It's going to open the door here for Williams. Durrani. And the 98, rather, of Jake Rogers still in the fight. But the 19's the one on the move. We haven't seen any of Andrew Williams all year. He looks pretty racy here late, but he's not on the right position at the moment. He's on the inside. He's going to have to slot in behind Samudio and have another crack. Although Samudio cuts down. That was a little bit close there. And Durrani's going to stay in front of the 18. 2 laps to go here for Ray Gillespie. Winner at Pikes Peak. Looking to grab himself his second win of the season. Here comes the 19 of Williams to the inside of Samudio into turn 1. Samudio's going to try and do what Gillespie did last time. Use that outside to his advantage. Couldn't quite get as good of a run. They're going to be side by side through 2. Rogers gets shuffled up high as well. That's going to open the door for Durrani. And got a couple of team trucks going side by side here. Well, a couple of groups of them, because you've got the McAnally trucks, you've got 2 of the Thorsport trucks, you've got Jericho right there as well. Durrani gets around Rogers. Here comes Jericho. Here comes Rowe for the lead. Into turn 3. Is he going to get... he doesn't get the run. Gillespie uses that outside to his advantage. The 99 looking good. But if Rowe could get a good run... oh, and there goes Jericho into the wall! And that will trigger a caution, and that will end the race. Ray Gillespie in the 99... will take the yellow and the white. Oh boy. OS Joshy centered in the inside of Jericho. And the 81, who was on track for a top 10 and a really good points day, is going to finish plumb last. He's going to finish in last place. Wow, how quickly things could change. We won't get that side-by-side finish this week. Ray Gillespie, all he's got to do is bring this thing around turn 4 and down the front, and he will be the winner of the Gainbridge 200. And not had a caution all day until then. And I think Rowe slotted in behind through this little chute here between 3 and 4 to try and set himself up down the front. It's not been a great year for Rowe. He gets a good points day, which will count for something a little bit, but obviously not a race win. How about this 99? Hey, he led every lap en route to victory at Pikes Peak. He had to work pretty hard for it today. Well, not that he didn't have to work hard at Pikes Peak. Tom Struxel made him earn it that day. But as we round turn 4 and we head down the front, Ray Gillespie here in this number 99 is going to take the checker flag. The winner at Pikes Peak is going to be the winner here in Indianapolis. We actually had more afterwards. You can see the skid mark, so there was more afterwards as well. Might have involved Davis potentially. Checkered flag in the air at Indianapolis. Ray Gillespie wins the Gainbridge 200 for his second of the season. His second in 3 weeks. He's the winner here at the Brickyard. From Rowe in second. Samudio, who led the most laps here today, in third. Andrew Williams, great drive. And the 18 of Durrani inside the top 5. OS Joshi, Jerry Chen, Trajan Hawk. Jake Rogers dropped down to the 9th position. He may have got held up there a little bit. And then Henrik Waugh inside the top 10. Wow, that was quite a remarkable finish. Not in the same way the last few weeks have been, but what a shame for Tyler Jericho. Unfortunately, the 81, who was running up in the top 10 and is out of not out of the race, but he ends up finishing last here today. A bad points day for him. A good points day, though, for Ray Gillespie, as he is the race winner. Let's take a look what happened to trigger the final caution. The only caution here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway before we get to the results. Pretty stock standard incident here in Indianapolis. You're going to see OS Josh. He's going to get to the inside. He's going to drive it in pretty hard. And Tyler Jericho here in the 81 is going to cut down in front. Or try to. He didn't really even cut down that much. Josh, he drove it in pretty hard. And sends the 81 up into the outside wall in turn 4. It's luckily, and we've seen in previous years, you could get clobbered in this kind of position. You see Carson Miller gets through it just pretty close there. Luckily, at least at this stage, nobody hits the 81. Unfortunately, as I talked about, there's a little bit of extra, unfortunately, afterwards. You're going to see, I mean, these guys really stacking up and everything. But you're going to see here, it's Max Davis. You can see Davis on the outside, the 33, who was running at the rear of the field anyway. I'll try and get a better angle. That's not a better angle. You're going to see, for some reason, he's going to run straight up the back here of the 81 and turn him into the inside wall. I don't really know why. Obviously, you're racing it back, obviously. But he just turned the 81 into the inside wall. I actually really don't know why. That's a weird one. That's a weird one right there at the end. But of course, no one else coming out. A tough break for Tyler Jericho. What a shame. He was running in that top 10. And he's going to end up plumb last. What a shame for him. What a shame for Davis. But Ray Gillespie will not complain about that. Because he's going to get himself a second win of the season. Here it is in real time. You see Jericho's getting around Jake Rogers right there. That's a check up a little bit on that inside. And Joshy had a great run. It's an awkward one. Hard to pin the blame exactly on one driver, although perhaps it was more on Joshy from my perspective anyway. Didn't look like Jericho really cut him off in that regard. And then this is weird. And Davis, who's trying to race it back to the line, decided to just wreck the 81 instead of trying to get around him. Weird incident there at the end, that last one. But, how about the performance of this guy? Ray Gillespie's the winner here at Indianapolis. His second of the season. That's going to thrust him right up into contention here in this championship. Let's take a look at your final results. And then we'll get the championship standings as well. Final results on your screen here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Ray Gillespie in the 99 took the lead away from his teammate. And gets himself the race win here at the Brickyard at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. His second win of the year. Second win within 3 weeks. After winning at Pikes Peak not that long ago. Alexander Rowe, pretty good day. Ends up in second. Could have had a chance at the win on the white flag. But we'll never know. We'll never know in that regard. Nicholas Zamudio led the most laps today. But finishes up in third. Andrew Williams, what a day for Williams in comparison to what the rest of his season's been. He ended up in fourth ahead of his teammate Ryan Durrani. OS Josh, he ended up in sixth. Jerry Chen went from 30th to 7th in that race. And Trajan Hawk went from 34th to 8th. So a great day for those two Colleague trucks. And then Rogers and Gwar, two of the veterans, ran out the top 10. Miles Inamatsu, haven't seen what happened to him, but you might have seen what happened to him in the 2. He ended up in 11th. Tim Simmons in 12th. Castle Green in 13th. So not a bad day for those guys and Andrew Williams that were towards the rear of the championship. And even Benny Watson's hasn't had a perfect year. He ends up in 14th. Rogel Dawn dropped back to 15th. Not a great result for Dawn. He's going to lose a spot in the championship. Ahead of Logan Williams in 16th. Carson Miller ended up in 17th. Not a great day for Miller. Donnie Anthony dropped back to 18th. And then Crown and Oren rounds out the top 20. Nathan Stapleton in his home race didn't have a great day. Ended up at 21st. Carson Riggy 22nd. Really made no progress in this one. Isaac Nichols. Tough season continues for the 26th. Caleb Rose, though, who came into this day 3rd in the championship. That's going to hurt. Same with Braden Perez, Thomas Troxel, 25th and 26th. Brendan Wilmington, 27th. Matthew Hubert, Duncan Ward, and Mateus Bento round out the top 30. And then the drivers at the end here. 31st on down, Sarah Taylor ends up in 31st, ahead of Leonard Koshma, Ashley Caboose, Charlie Davenport, and then Max Davis. And Tyler Jericho, the hard luck story of this one in the 81, after running in the top 10 pretty much all day, ends up finishing in the 36th position. Let's take a look at those championship standings now. Through 5 races, 3 races to go. And wasn't a perfect day. It wasn't a great day for Carson Miller, but he did get himself... Well, he does hold the lead, rather. He does lose the ground, though, because Ray Gillespie gained 21 points on him today. And he goes from 5th to 2nd in the championship, ahead of Rogel Dawn, Caleb Rose, and Thomas Troxel. So all of our winners still top 5 in the points. OS Joshi, he's had a pretty solid season, although I don't know if he'll get any Christmas cards here from Tyler Jericho. 6th in points, Carson Riggy is 7th in points, Brain Perez. Nicholas Samunio moves up a lot of positions in this one. He goes to 9th in points, and then Jerry Chen 10th. You see the rest of your standings right there, 11th on down. Some big movers here. Ryan Durrani moves up in this championship, up to 13th in the points. Alexander Rowe moves up in the points as well. He made a lot of ground. Gwar. So it's a lot of drive. Jacob Rogers as well now inside the top 20. Not really what you would have anticipated 2 races ago, but that's what back-to-back top 10s will give you, I suppose. You look on beyond the top 20. Tyler Jericho, 21st in the points. What a terrible result in the end for the 81. He loses a huge amount of ground in this race, and not looking good for him, unfortunately. It's like we said for a few of these guys back in here: Bento, Wilmington, Hubert, Watson. Watson did have a solid enough result, but even then, not a great position for him to be in. Duncan Ward, Oren. Tim Simmons now up to 28th in points, so he's making a little bit of ground. Andrew Williams up inside the top 30 as well. And then Koshma, Caboose, Sarah Taylor, Carson Green. He's no longer the lowest driver to have made every race this year. Max Davis, and then Nathan Stapleton 37th in the points in that number 42. That does it for us here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Gainbridge 200. Congratulations to Ray Gillespie on his 2nd win of the season, and next time out we'll be headed to the Iowa Speedway, another track that will be hitting the Cup Series calendar, not for the first time. We did have it back through seasons 2 through 4, I think, from memory. Maybe 3 or 4, I don't know. But it was on the Cup Series calendar previously. It returned in season 7. We're looking forward to that. And of course, we've got a truck race there coming up. The Casey's 150, 38 laps around the Iowa Speedway. We're looking forward to that one. So, congratulations once again to Ray Gillespie, and we'll see everybody next time out at the Iowa Speedway.